My name is Jens Sheen. I'm a 21-year veteran of the Navy and Army. I have a couple of different trades. I have a few tours under my belt. Um, I have severe PTSD from some of them instances and tours. And right now, for the last 4 years, a lot of veterans are going to get this. But since I got out in 2014, I've been kind of struggling with life and my PTSD and my traumas, and I isolated. And over that time, I did a lot of stuff. Like I went to St. Anne's Veterans Hospital in Quebec. I've been to Homewood for PTSD. I've been through tremendous Wounded Warriors programs. I have a service dog. I mean, I pretty much got a lot of tools in my toolbox. But what I found was what I was missing was this part. And so that part I'm talking about is physical education and physical exercise and exercise workout and routines. Because as a veteran and as a military member that's been in the Navy and Army, we always have, for 21 years, I could say that I always exercised, right? I've always did something. And then when you, all of a sudden, you get, I don't want to say you get PTSD, I think it's over a period of time, but then you bury yourself in your house because of it, and you isolate and you do all this stuff, and then you miss that part because you're afraid to go out, or you're afraid to go to a gym, or you're afraid to go around crowds or whatever, so you kind of miss that part. And then I heard about you guys, Veterans Rehab and Performance, from some other veterans that passed on that they were doing well. And, the thing was that and I mean, I know I'm kind of really doing a great introduction here right now, but and some veterans will get this too. Like, I was on a lot of pills. I was on 27 pills. And I was night eating. I didn't know why. I never ate night eating in my life. Like, I wouldn't even eat, Steve, I wouldn't eat junk food. Right?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I'm getting up in the middle of the night and I'm eating junk food. Like, I'm in my cupboard stealing my daughter's lunches, right?
Yeah.
And my wife's my wife's putting a chain around the cupboard and locking it up with a lock and here I'm eating at night. I'm putting on weight. I'm lazy during the day. I'm sleeping on my stairs. I'm not doing well, right? My legs are hurting. My knees are hurting. My ankles hurt from a previous injury. My shoulders hurt from a previous injury. And I'm just not doing well. So I got with a nutritionist for a while. She helped me out. I got with a physical trainer for a while, but she was kind of helping me, but just wasn't doing it. And then I heard about you guys, and I was hearing a lot of good things about Veterans Rehab Performance, and I looked into it. And then I came and seen you guys, and I can honestly say, in the last 2 months, I've been feeling better. Like, I think it's something that we should learn in the military right from the start, right? Because I learned from you guys how to deal with my injuries versus how to cover them up all the time. So that's what I learned in the military. Suck it up, princess, right?
Yeah.
And but now I'm learning actually how to deal with them. And you know what? I've been feeling better. Yeah, they still hurt if I don't do what I need to do on a daily basis, like what I learned from you guys. So yeah, I ranted under a little bit. So
No,
I'll let you take over a bit now.
no, I think it's a great introduction. Kind of a few things that you spoke about there, like a big thing that we endorse and what we try to encourage is to move despite your pain, to move in spite of your pain. So that a big piece of that from what you do with us is then figuring out what you can do rather than what you're going to stop doing, and that changes the view of exercise and activity and movement, because you're starting to look at opportunities rather than things being taken away from you. And kind of along that line, we spend a lot of time with veterans in our program trying to get them to not self-isolate, to get them out of their house, to socialize more. It's a big part of our program as well, is that we want people we have even a small cohort session, so that you've got other people with shared experiences, that other veterans that you can have a laugh with, have a joke with, things like that. And we spend all our time saying not to self-isolate. And then we've got something like COVID that just happens. And now we all have to self-isolate. I'm currently on day 12 of 14 because I got back off vacation. So I haven't left these four walls for 12 days. And you know, I'm just about crawling the walls right now. However, I'm somebody that, you know, doesn't have a diagnosed mental health illness or injury, an operational stress injury. You know, those that do and are now facing the situation where self-isolation is being imposed and enforced, man, there's going to be some challenges, because a lot of the way forward has been getting out of the house, socializing, you know, going for walks, go to the gym, do this, do that, and now it's okay. Now you're in your four walls. So you know, what's that like for you? Going, you know, looking at this could be a 3, 4, 5 month
Well,
process.
it's actually, you know, I've talked to this now with a couple of people, because that was kind of my concern too. Because what happened was, I mean, I started with you guys in January the 6th, I think it was, and you know, it's been a little over almost 3 months now. But I started a routine, because when I started with you guys, I realized that I had to build my life around you, around veterans rehab, because it was so important to me to get back into shape and start losing weight. Like I said before, like I was eating everything at night. I was on 27 pills. The pills that I was on was causing me to gain weight. Right, one of the pills that I was on, and it kept me down a little bit. And then when I mean, a lot of veterans are going to get this, but once I got introduced to medical cannabis, I started to realize, I started getting off my pills, and then I realized that the pills were making me eat, and now I wasn't feeling comfortable with myself anymore, because I put on weight. I put on 135 pounds because of it. I was isolated in my house. I could, you know, I went home to my sister's wedding last year, and I couldn't walk her down the hall without getting out of breath, you know, and I just didn't feel good about myself anymore. I had low self-esteem, low self-worth, and I realized that, you know what, I needed to become a soldier, and not as in the terms of going back in, but having that mentality again, you know, mentality that the person that I was, you know, you know, I read something on Facebook a little while ago that, you know, just because we're hurt and injured doesn't mean we're still not warriors, right? And that's what I wanted to be again, but I wanted to be my own again. And I realized how important that physical education was, exercise was. And I came to see you guys, and like I said, I learned so much more about myself, about how I hurt, and how I can work through that and get better. And you know, we always know in the military, right? We have always been told this in the military, that your body can take way much more than your mind can, right? And if anybody don't know this, Steve has got a video on YouTube with him lifting an 80-pound weight, the turkey's head up. And my goal is to beat Steve, I think. So that is my goal for at the end of all this. And you know, it's just a little healthy competition. But that's how I set up my goals, right, Steve? Is that I set up 2 goals with you guys, and I found out yesterday I've accomplished, right? Because I was at the point in my life 3 months ago, I couldn't get up off the floor. Like, I have a service dog, and I couldn't get on the floor to play with him, because if I got on the floor, I couldn't get up. Right? I had so much weight on. I was hurting everywhere, you know. And now, 2.5 months later, really, I'm doing a Turkish get up with 50 pounds off the floor. Right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like, you know, like, that's amazing. I couldn't walk 2 blocks 2.5 months ago without getting beat out and having to take you know, 5 or 6 uh, uh, breaks. And now me and my wife are walking around the block a couple times up over hills. Like,
Which is
it's
fantastic.
all due because you guys, I was kind of covering up my injuries, right? Because they were hurting, so I was kind of protecting them. But you guys helped me learn how to. I learned about mobility. I learned about stretching. You know, kind of stuff I always knew, but I didn't always. You guys allowed me to put it all together. So Veterans Rehab with your program actually showed me how to work out better, exercise better, right?
And
So now the question that you just asked, I'm stuck at home, right? And I had some routine. Like, I didn't have much of a routine. I think this is, and most veterans are going to get this, Steve, but I think this is like our godsend, really, because we're so used to isolating and staying at home, right? That's how we protect ourselves. because I don't know, some veterans are going to get this, but I call it the lizard, right? It's the flight and freeze mode, right? When we get into that place, well, I tend to like the fight because that's what I had to do all my life, right, in the military stuff. Like so, and veterans would get it. And sometimes I freeze and I run away, but the thing is, I don't want to do that anymore. So exercise was the thing that I was missing, and it was the thing that I was missing in my toolbox. And since I started the program, my life has changed. But now that I'm stuck at home, I feel like I'm getting back into that old rut again. I feel like I'm not sleeping. I'm having nightmares. I'm trying to keep my attitude up during the day because my wife and kids are here. But like to be honest, I mean, I'll throw it out there because I believe if I can help anybody out, that's what I'm here for. Like October, the cops had to break down my door and haul me out because I tried to commit suicide. Right? Because I did not think there was a hope in this world for me anymore. And some days I still feel like that. But you know what? I have a routine today that kind of works for me, and I'm hoping that. Okay, I'll say that again. I had a routine that was kind of working for me, and I was setting up goals for my future. And now that I'm isolating at home and all that routine is gone, I don't know what else to do. Right? I'm stuck. And I talked to my occupational therapist, and she's right now is trying to work on getting me some exercise equipment for my house. Because, Steve, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with everybody. Like the first 2 or 3 days of this isolation bullshit, I mean, I know we got to do it. I'll do my part and everything, but uh, I was getting up in the morning and I was doing my routine. I was exercising. I was remembering everything. And then, I said, oh, I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Now it's been 2 days. But my wife had said to me today, she goes, again, like, if it wasn't for my wife, and I want to put this out to all veterans too. I mean, I know there's veterans out there that live by themselves. Like you are probably in your own house here, and you're alone. And I think this is why this program would be so important. Maybe, once or twice a week, get online with veterans, help them work out, keep in contact with them. Because as veterans, we can isolate. I mean, I have this little shed here. I call it my medicated hut. It's where I make jokes and pokes and all that stuff. And I do my thing, right? But I could get lost out in here for hours and hours. And I go into my house and my wife says to me, "What are you doing out there?" I don't know. I just shut off my brain.
Yeah, I think the important thing in everything that you said there is all of the all of the success that you've had over the last 3 months. It all came because you prioritized your health, and that it was something that you were willing and ready to do. And you said you built your life around, you said veteran rehab, but you built it around that hour to hour and a half a day, every day that you were doing physical activity. And I think that's the really important part there is you prioritize that because you had a place to go and report to, you weren't going to miss it. Now that you're not physically going to that location during this time, it's more like it's a shift in the brain, but basically that still needs to be an appointment. That is still an appointment in your schedule. You still wake up, and at 8 o'clock, which I believe is your time, at 8 o'clock, you're at veteran rehab in your head. That's where you are. And our team, we're sending you your workouts, we're sending you videos. Any way that we can help you in that way, let me know. We'll keep doing our our Zoom calls with you. But for you, you have the exercises, you have the tools. 8 o'clock to 9:30 every morning. You're not talking with the wife and kids. You're not in the medicated hut. You're not doing any of that. That is your time to work out and prioritize this, because this is going to be 3-4 months. And you want to pick up that 80-pound kettlebell up off the ground and send me that video. I want to see that video. So you're not going to do it if you're not doing that every day and working on the ability, right? And so right now, more than ever, in a situation where you're being self-isolate, having routines is so, so important, because otherwise it can be for Netflix or, just spending your time like watching the hours pass by. Right now, we could be having this conversation and you could already have had your hour and a half exercise, which afterwards put you in a better mental state, which also probably means that you're more likely to go and make a healthy food choice afterwards, because when we exercise, we immediately feel better about ourselves, and then we don't want to waste what we just did. So we make a healthier choice, and it's easier for us to do so. And then because you've worked out, because you've eaten healthy, now you're in a better frame of mind. Maybe it's not so difficult for you to be in that frame of mind with your family, and then you get more out of that interaction, and maybe you guys play games or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, we've now got the physical, the nutrition, we've got the social, the mental health, and it's all about building momentum and keeping with that momentum. As soon as we have that break, and I've heard this already, we've been in this thing for 2 weeks, and I'm talking to case managers and psychologists and some of our veterans, and I'm hearing it. I'm hearing a lot of guys are dropping off the program, as in not even just our program, but just people stopping exercising. There's other stresses as well. Like maybe they've got to take care of the kids full time. They don't have that time to themselves each day. Maybe they live in a real small house, and it's just really difficult to find some alone time. These are all real challenges. And this is why I want to have conversations like this, because for other veterans who are watching this, it's okay that these are challenges. It's not just happening to you, it's happening to a whole bunch of veterans. And you've got two choices in this moment. You either let it beat you, or you say, no, I'm going to kick its ass. And the way that we kick its ass is that you prioritize yourself. You say 8 o'clock every morning. You're going to get out of bed. You're going to make your coffee, whatever it is that you do. And 8 o'clock, you get into that exercise routine, whatever it is for anybody watching that they may be doing at home, whether they've got an exercise bike or whether they like doing yoga or whatever. For you, the exercises that we give you, practicing your get-ups, all of those things, 8 to 9:30, that's your time, and it's going to set up your whole day. And if you've got other friends in the community of the veterans who are struggling, let's do Zoom calls. Zoom in and say, hold each other accountable. At 8 o'clock, we're just going to put this on. We don't have to work out. We don't have to be talking to each other, but I'm going to work out for an hour, and you better work out for that hour as well, because we're going to hold each other accountable. And that's an appointment done. And I think that routine's right now more than ever is going to be the key to getting through the next 3-4 months.
I think you're right, Steve. I mean, everything you said there. I mean, as veterans, as normal people, as people, but especially as veterans, I can only talk for myself, but I know everything you're saying is right. I know that. So that's, I kind of had a bad couple of days this week, but I'm going to get back on my routine because it's so important. So you're right. I have to keep it 8 o'clock. I have to get up in the morning, keep my same routine, do my 8 o'clock to 9:30 workout. Like my wife is really good. Like she says, I'll do it with you. So what we're going to do now in the morning, we're going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. She's still technically at work at home, right? Okay. She works for Victoria Police as a clerk. So she's going on the computer. They got her all set up here. So she technically goes to work, but she said she'd like to go for a walk with me. So we're going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We found a nice place to go with the dogs. We can just kind of let them go for free. We're going to go for a little walk, and then I'm going to come home and do my workout right away. So that's the kind of new routine I'm going to do from this point forward. I'll keep with the swings from right now until because I don't want to hurt myself either, right? So until I get to know it a little bit better, I'll keep with the swings. I really like that.
No, yeah, and I've seen that. I don't know if it's appropriate, but you've got a very good swing, buddy. Great hinge.
But Steve, I am grateful that you reached out. I think this is a great conversation to have. I think we need to do a little bit more of this because you're right. I've been kind of I'm not sleeping well. I've been kind of slipping back into a little bit of old behavior. But I know how important it is. So I'm going to get back on track. That was my kind of goal even before all this COVID stuff happened was, that was kind of the deal. I wanted to come for this 6 months, and I wanted to me and my occupational therapist, we're going to find a place where I could go and achieve this goal every day, right? Because I really want to keep up with the swings and the kettlebell. I really enjoy it, and I want to learn more. But I'm if this is the way it needs to be now for the next little while, I have to set up a new goal. So I have to get back to taking care of myself. Because you're right. I mean, you're so right. Every this if I looked at this week, the days that I worked out at 8 o'clock in the morning and did the workout, I cooked a nice breakfast after, and my day was much better.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, everything was much better.
100%. 100%. It sets up your entire day. It gives you a reason to get out of bed. It gives you a reason to be, especially like that morning that you talked about. Get up, go for a walk with your wife, with the dogs, like get some fresh air before anybody else is up. I'm sure you don't see another person when you're out there that early. And then come back, have a workout, have a breakfast. You've had 4 hours and you've literally ticked all the boxes. And now the rest of the day is yours. And you're going to attack that day in a whole different way. You're going to approach that day in a whole different way. You're going to get more out of it. And you can go to bed that night knowing that you've done positive and a progressive step in your health that day. And I think that is the best way that you can go to sleep, knowing that you did your best that day.
And you know, I mean, tell you a funny story, but I worked out on I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, and I did that workout that you guys gave me, and it was really good. I felt really good, and then after, I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna make some homemade spaghetti and bake some buns. I've never made buns in my life before. I looked at a recipe and I tried it out. Anyway, I screwed it up so bad. The buns they're tasty. They're just a little bit. I guess what I did, I burned the yeast and it didn't work out so well. But I talked to a cook buddy of mine, an army cook buddy of mine. He told me what I did wrong, and I'm like, I should have talked to you before this.
Did they look like buns or Yorkshire puddings at the end of it?
They looked like little rocks. But, they were good. The wife liked them. The spaghetti turned out really well. But what I'm trying to say is that was the mood I was in after I worked out. After I took care of myself, worked out, ate a healthy breakfast, I felt so good that I wanted to do something more.
And that's the key to all of it. That's the key to all of it. It's set yourself up for success in this. There's more than enough excuses. There's more than enough reasons for us to not do this, take the healthy measures. But one simple thing can be the catalyst for the rest of your day and the rest of your week. So 8 o'clock every morning, make sure we get those workouts in. That's your mission. My team's going to make sure that you stay on track. And if you need anything at all, you just reach out to us. Okay.
I will. Yeah. And just one more thing before I close, and I'm going to kind of steal this from one of the Warriors a little bit, but we are in this together, right? And not only veterans together, but we're all kind of in this together now, and we need to help each other out. But you know, I need I don't even know where I was going at anymore. But anyway, yeah.
The beauty of the veteran community that I've been immersed in now for the last 18 months is that you guys are tighter than ever, like tighter than any other group that I know. I went down to the Warrior Games in Tampa last year, and so I got a whole bunch of different military contacts and everything on Facebook, and I see all the interaction. And as soon as one person's struggling, there's 50 of you all coming in trying to help, and it's inspiring, it's motivating. And I know, I'm sure I could speak for you. If anybody's struggling right now and they reached out to you through this.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there in a heartbeat. Yeah, because that's the way we are, right? I mean, and I do a lot of it through humor today. I found out that was my thing. A lot of people deal with it in certain ways, but I like laughing and carrying on. And I find that helps me a lot, right? So, I just want to say thank you to you guys for keeping us going, because I think you guys are amazing over your staff, and I got so much gratitude. I mean, I know you guys, right? So.
No, and we all really appreciate that, Jens. What we're trying to do now, we're pivoting like everybody else. So every day the team's working on developing more content and making this as comprehensive as a virtual program experience as it can be until we can go back to normal. So just you have to just set your own routine, and we'll make sure that it's still progressing you through this time.
Okay, I'll do that, because I like I said earlier, I'm willing to make that commitment, right? because when I first joined you guys, I made a commitment that I would work my schedule around you because it was so important for me to have this time, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I got to do now. Even though I'm isolating in the house and I'm social distancing myself, I can still do my routine here. I just need to change the concept, right? So I'm glad that me and you had this conversation because I needed to hear, hey, Yance, you still need to do your routine, right? So, and every once in a while, I just need to hear that stuff. So it's all good.
That's what we're here for, bud.
All right, buddy.
Look after yourself.
I will.
Checking with you next week, and I want to hear that you had 5 awesome workouts at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
All right. Thanks very much, Steve. And we'll talk soon.
Go on, bud.
Bye.
Okay.